Your boy is back with the NFL Sports Podcast. I'm your host here, my boy Flipside Wazatov. What's going on, gentlemen?
Not much, man. Just enjoying the day.
Yes, sir. How about you,
Enjoying
Waz?
the day here as well, man.
Yeah,
Same
man.
here, man. Enjoying the day, loving life, man.
Yeah, I heard about that. But shoot, here it's like 37 degrees and cold and rainy. I don't know about y'all, but I've had enough winter for 1 year already. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. But on to these off-season trades and these off-season speculations. I mean, yeah. So far, one Sunday down, about 20 more Sundays to go until the 2019 NFL regular season. But yeah, it's already shaping up to be interesting because, all right, let's get these first two things out of the way. First off, Kareem Hunt being picked up by the Cleveland Browns. I can't really say I feel one way or the other about this one because it's like, I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad move by the Browns, but at the same time, it's like, you already have Nick Chubb. Why would you need Kareem Hunt? And I mean, like I said, he's a damn good RB, top 5 in the league right now. But it's like, unless you're planning on getting rid of Chubb or putting him on the back burner, you don't really need Kareem Hunt. But then again, running backs coming down but does in this league anyway. And I was actually reading the ESPN sports article about why the NFL and why a lot of teams and owners don't want to pay wide receivers. They don't want to pay running backs like they do quarterbacks and wide receivers and top end defensive players because the shelf life of the running back position isn't that long. Running backs last like what, 5 years, maybe.
Yeah, it's around that. Yeah, it's around. I mean, on average, like 5 to 7 good years.
Yeah, and that's if they stay healthy. If they stay healthy.
Yeah. Right. So I like the move. I mean, you have Chubb still on a rookie deal, who's showing pretty good prominence, and you have Kareem, who you're getting at a discount versus what he's potentially valued at. And you have a rising franchise, an offense that's dynamic with Baker back there, that's starting to improve and get better with the tight end position. Landry, it's been looking good. I like the move by the Browns in terms of just outside issues outside of football side. I think business wise and potentially for football operations, I think it was a pretty savvy move.
Yeah, Flip, what do you think about that move?
I think it's a pretty. Well, at first I thought it was pretty crazy. I was thinking, why would they go Kareem Hunt? And Nick Chubb is clearly showing that he can be that great running back that they need. But then I was thinking they're going to need a Duke Johnson replacement. Getting up there, they probably don't want to pay him too much, and like you're saying, they can get Hunt on the discount. So I was thinking they're just going to have these two as a tandem. They don't want to run Nick Chubb into the ground. They'll probably have him getting about 15 to 18 carries, have him getting about 10 to 12.
Right.
But he can be that complementary role that they need. I think he can be a way better backup than Duke Johnson can be. So yeah, I like the move. I think it's a pretty solid move, and the Browns got a steal.
All right. Now, let's get to what I really want to talk about. Antonio Brown has made it clear that he wants to move on from Pittsburgh in this offseason. Now, I, of course, have negative feelings toward this, but the thing is, everybody says that, regardless of his talent, he's a quote-unquote cancer in the locker room, and there's no room for that in any organization, especially the Pittsburgh Steelers, because let's be real, nobody will put up with his BS despite the talent. And I guess the thing is, he's made it clear that he wants to go. But the thing is, at the end of the day, it is up to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, right now it's in the Steelers' hands. They can. But the thing is, they free up $21 million in cap space if they let him go. And I mean, let's just throw the money out there. The money aspect out for a second. That would make Juju Smith-Schuster the number 1 wide receiver for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, the thing is, I'm not really too confident about that because Big Ben, he's only got about 2, 3 more years left in him. I don't really see Big Ben playing after 40 because he's 37 years old now. And I mean Juju, and then you got James Conner and everything. The Killer Bees are defunct now. I mean you got James Conner. I would from F to A+, I would rank James Conner probably a B+, and I would probably rank Juju Smith-Schuster an A-. And the reason why I would give him an A- is not because he's not. I mean, he's got the talent. He just doesn't have the experience of a Le'Veon Bell. He doesn't have the experience of an Antonio Brown. But Antonio Brown is only going to be his prime for what? 2 more years? I mean, the thing is, he's only been injured twice in his whole career. Juju, he hasn't had one major. He's been sidelined for a couple of snaps, but he hasn't had one major injury in his career yet. Knock on wood. But the thing is, at this point, Antonio Brown leaving the organization is not entirely up to him. But the thing is, he can do what Le'Veon Bell did if the Steelers don't want to let him go. He can opt to sit out. I mean, the rest of the year, and then just not get the rest of his money that he's guaranteed throughout his contract. But Wise, where are some teams that you think would love to have Antonio Brown?
I think a lot of teams would. I mean, there's definitely talks about my San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be an interesting fit. My only reservations for it are just the fact that this whole thing is looked very, very poorly on Antonio Brown's part, just the way he handles a lot of things.
Yeah.
There's a lot of immaturity and drama that just seem like it's come down over the last couple of years versus before that. Where it seems like Antonio was pretty much kept his. It seemed like Antonio Brown was didn't really seem to have much drama affiliated with him, except for like maybe the last few years.
Yeah.
It seemed like it's been more and more of a problem. So that's probably some reservations for me. I mean, I think he would be great in that Shanahan offense. He'd be a good threat. We don't really have we don't really have any marquee or big talent in that wide receiver position. But I'm just a little concerned. I think Antonio needs he needs to be put in a place. I think that would have a really, really good solid structure, whether like in terms of just a coaching for like a really a respected coach that's going to not that's going to warrant respect. And because if Antonio Brown goes into a locker room that's a little bit shaky and divisive, he can add more fire to that.
Right.
So I think particularly a locker room that's really solid. I mean the Patriots for one. I think the Patriots receiver. They definitely have the locker room that would not let any BS fly. I think potentially the Seahawks would be kind of interesting. Although granted they have as of late been a little bit shaky, but there's potential there. I think what about going back and forth on this? The Packers. It's just I'm looking at the Packers would be interesting. I looked at some of in terms of the cap space implications. A team like the Colts have the largest cap space out of anything in terms of potentially resigning or taking on money from that. But it's I don't know. It's back and forth. My Niners have been involved in many talks, but I'm just very, very wary of that kind of drama being brought into a locker room and disrupting it. So I think a locker room definitely would have to be a big factor in terms of where he would go.
Yeah. All right. Now, one last question regarding Brown, and then I'll let Flip talk. Do you think that Bell's absence had anything to do with it? Do you feel like Antonio Brown was like, well, if he goes, I go? What do you think?
Do I think Bell has anything to do with it?
Yeah.
No, because there was inclinations of it. You might have more of knowledge in terms of thinking how their friendship plays into it. I don't think that's really the case. It obviously, I feel like, again, like I said, there hasn't been that much drama except for the last couple of years, and then that's maybe the last couple of years where it's been really heightened with Bell. Obviously, I think even if Bell played this year, uh, I don't know how differently things would have played. Brown seemed to have a lot of like issues and problems with people questioning his ability with that without kind of saying that his success is reliant on someone like Ben Roethlisberger and that he can't put up numbers anywhere else. And I think he's got an ego to him, and he obviously wants to prove that. He's really determined now to show that he could thrive elsewhere. So I don't think Le'Veon Bell has as much to do with it as I think Brown was kind of maybe becoming a scapegoat for some of the Steelers' problems, and he wants to show, he wants to see if the grass is greener somewhere else.
Right. All right, Flip. What are your thoughts? Where do you see Brown going if the Steelers do decide to let him go?
My ideal places for him to go, like what I said, the 49ers definitely need a receiver. So I could see him going there. Other teams, the Texans need someone to complement Dion, so I could see them being a major duo. They have the cap room to do it.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
They just got rid of Demaryius Thomas, too, so I could definitely see them doing that just to have that triple threat with D-Hop, AB, and Kiki Cutie. So
yeah, I
would definitely see them going there, but more than likely, I can feel like the Browns might catch him up or something, just so he can have like that revenge game against the Steelers, like and Jarvis Landry's on the team, and him, Odell, and AD seem to be the best friends at times. So
yeah,
you never know. But in terms of Antonio Brown on the team, I don't think Le'Veon had a problem, or Le'Veon wasn't a part of it. The losing season, I feel like, was a part of it. So if you want to blame Le'Veon for that, then sure. But yeah, like what I said, I feel like he just has something to prove. And after all this locker room frenzy and him getting most of the blame, you can see him on Twitter trying to defend himself most of the time.
Yeah.
You could tell he feels like he's the one shouldering all the blame, and Ben is just kind of chilling back there, and no one else is really getting the slack. So yeah, that could definitely drive someone away from the team. And when you're kind of like in your final years and people are kind of questioning you, you kind of want to go to another team and say like, hey, look, I can play with this quarterback too, or I can play in this system. And if you can give him a solid quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers or maybe Baker Mayfield, we got to see in sophomore year, or Deshaun Watson's decent too. I mean, he can get the ball to D-Hop. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see why he would want to leave.
All right, now, next guy I want to talk about, and this is a big one, Nick Foles. All right, now, if you are the Philadelphia Eagles, do you trade him or do you keep him? My personal opinion is you hold on to Nick Foles with your damn life. And I'm going to tell you, I mean, here's why. Because, one, he knows the system. He knows that he's been there, what, 6 years, 7 years now? 8? Yeah, he's been there for quite a while. His best years there were the 2014 season and the 2018 season last year. So yeah, the 2017-2018 season. Those are Nick Foles' best years with the Eagles. He knows the system. He has a good relationship with Doug Peterson. The thing is, he's also become a focal leader himself. And the thing is, he is talented. And also I think that the thing is, you kind of want him as that insurance policy just in case Carson Wentz goes down, because everybody's like, oh, Carson Wentz is the future. Carson Wentz is the future. But the thing is, he hasn't played a full season yet. Mind you, this is only his 3rd year with the team. Still, you still want that extra bullet in the chamber just in case. And the third reason why I don't think that Nick Foles should be excused from the Philadelphia Eagles is because there's a few teams that do need a number one quarterback, and there's a few teams who will pay him top dollar. But the only problem is just I just think that Nick Foles can't win anywhere else besides Philly. I could be wrong, but that's just my personal opinion. But Wise, what do you think? Where should you think he should stay? You think he should go?
I heard before I looked at it, I really thought, yeah, he needs to go. He wants to opt out. Philly should probably take advantage of that and maybe try to trade him for some pieces. But I was looking and trying to see what team would take him. And it actually, I mean, immediately the field, like the opportunity, the job with the landscape for both isn't as like I thought it would be. Realistically, the team, with salary cap aside, the best team would have been obviously Jacksonville, but Jacksonville is way over the cap.
Oh,
yeah. They couldn't afford Foles. Realistically, the only kind of team that could that probably wouldn't want maybe that could use a good starter right now would be a team like Arizona. But right now they have Rosen, and then there's talks about them flipping Rosen to the Patriots.
Yeah.
And then drafting Kyler Murray.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So I heard about that. That's very interesting. That itself is very interesting. Getting Rosen to the Patriots. So I mean, I don't know what the Cardinals are curious about. I mean, when I look at all teams, I mean, Colts don't need them. Jets don't. Jets have Darnold right now. But the four teams kind of all have like a prospect like rookie or like a quarterback that's kind of growing right now.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills maybe. But I'm not sure what they're thinking of with Allen. Josh, I mean, it's the future for them. Yeah. So, and now I'm looking at like the Broncos. I mean, they're still going to ride it out with Case Keenum for a little bit. I mean, for them to try to put that Foles. There's realistic. I mean, the Giants. I guess the Giants really. That might be the only other option. Is New York and the Giants or Arizona. There's not really much out there. So I think it's best for both parties if he stays. Like
right.
It's the best situation for him. I mean, Carson Wentz has shown that he's not. He has definitely injury from. This is a situation where you could be the savior, but otherwise, collect that big check on the bench. That's the easiest money you're gonna get. I know you want the glory, but hey, you're Super Bowl MVP. Like, it's just I think Philadelphia is right now the best bet, and then maybe mid-season see what the landscape's looking like. Maybe there's a big injury comes to another team,
mm-hmm.
and you could swindle a desperate team that leaves their star quarterback for a lot of pieces. You have Nick Foles there, so that's what I think.
All right, Flip. Should Nick Foles stay with the Eagles or should he go?
They're not going to pay him a big contract. I think he should go. It just seems so weird for them to keep trying to put him on the bench when he's kind of shown the last couple of years that he's a better quarterback at this moment.
Mm-hmm.
He's 30 years old. He's probably got about maybe 5 to 7 more years in the NFL if he plays it right. This is the time to get that big contract, I think. Does he get it with the Eagles? I doubt it. I don't think they're going to pay him that big money. They're probably going to wait to pay Carson that big money. I could definitely see him going to the Cardinals, like Waz said. They need someone, and they'll dish out the money for him. If the Jags had the room, like I said, going there, I could see Carolina maybe picking him up as like a 1-year or 2-year big contract, since it looks like Cam was probably going to sit out. Or he could just be that starter for a team that doesn't feel like their rookie is really there just yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Jets, Bills, someone. But I just feel like he needs to opt out and see if he can get that contract. If he can't, settle with Eagles and something. But they need him because Carson Wentz is just an injury-prone nightmare.
Yeah.
And I feel like he can leverage some money out of him. I mean, he led him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know, right?
They should have made that Super Bowl run. And he's the one that just jumped in there and did it. So I feel like he needs to get paid for something. He can't just, like, he can sit there and be like, yeah, okay, I can get this $6 million on the bench, or I can try to, swindle an $18 million contract out of somebody else real quick. Even like a 1-year, $18 million contract with the Panthers was really good for him.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. So, I mean, yeah, I feel like it's smart for him to opt out, see what he can get, maybe swindle the Bucks. I mean, they're looking like desperate people down there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like he should leave the Eagles or get paid big.
Yeah. Now, guys, I had a quick look at this year's draft class, and there's almost no quarterbacks worth getting. I only see out of this whole draft class, out of the 2019 draft class, there's only like maybe 4 or 5 quarterbacks in it. Everywhere else, defensive tackle, defensive end, wide receiver, running back. That's all. This whole draft class coming up on the offensive side of the ball is either a running back or a wide receiver. The defensive side of the ball, there's really no real cornerbacks. There's a few linebackers, but everybody's either a D lineman or they're or a center, like not a center, but they're either a D lineman or like an edge rusher or something like that. It's full of edge rushers and full of D linemen. There's no real linebackers or secondaries, anything like that. So in this year's draft class, they are really going to have to play it smart with who they draft and where. They're going to have to be smart in that regard. All right, next guy, Dez Bryant. Yeah. Now, Dez Bryant had a horrible string of luck. He fell out. He didn't leave Dallas on good terms at all, and he didn't even play a single snap of football with the Saints, and the Saints might let him go. So, okay, personally, this is what I would do. If I'm the Saints, I would just brush that injury of his off and give him a chance with a 1-year contract. That's what I would do. And of course, I mean, that's just me personally. But I mean, we'll see what he can do. We'll see what happens with that. But Dez, he's known to have an ego on him. But hopefully that he's aged now, he's matured a little bit. That's going by the wayside. But yeah, Dez is 30 years old. Dez is gonna be 31 later on this year. And the thing is, with this draft class coming up, do you want a guy who's had a major injury to sideline him for a year and he's had, problems all on the field and off the field? Would you rather take your chances on Dez Bryant with the talent he has to bring to the table, or would you rather just cut your losses and try to get somebody better in the draft? But yeah, Waz, what do you think?
I think you cut your losses. Obviously, I mean, Dez went a while before he got onto before he got signed to the Saints. Obviously, the Saints saw some potential in him, but there's not really coming off that injury. There's not really a good long string of luck or history showing that guy come back and perform as well. He was already kind of losing his step. He's not. He's a big target kind of possession receiver now, and he's not a guy that's going to get separation. Like he did before, and it's just I'm not sure what team would fit. I don't know if the team like the Rams might take a shot at him. I don't know if the team like the Raiders, the Browns. I'm not sure. I think the Saints. I think the Saints should cut their losses. I think the Saints don't necessarily need playing receiver like that. I think they might want more of a virtual tight end. I think that the Saints might look at it like I think the Saints got a body like Jimmy Graham, like the tight end like a Jimmy Graham or what Jimmy Graham was for them back then. I think that offense would be a lot more dynamic than just adding another piece to the receiving corps. Obviously, the Saints offense is great for the most part, except for the later part of the season. I don't think Dez is gonna make more of a bright
Yeah, because they already got Alvin Kamara. They got Alvin Kamara, Ted Ginn, Michael Thomas. Who's the other running back?
Well, Ingram, but Ingram's a free agent.
They might pick him back up though.
Yeah, they should pick him back up. So yeah, I think you cut your losses. I'm not sure. I don't know if Dez is going to play again. To be honest, I mean,
Wow.
he might get picked up again on the practice squad, but just the fact that he went a while before he got signed, and then coming off that injury, not playing a single snap, just a year older, it's gonna take a hell of a comeback. And Dez definitely had like issues, obviously, with commitments and being mature early in his career, so it's kind of hard to suddenly develop that late in your career. You know what I mean? Like you kind of have to be a player that your work ethic and your maturity kind of has to be there from the start. Most people don't develop that this late, and at least at that position, it's a lot harder to come back and be in that.
All right, Flip. What do you think about Dez Bryant? Do you think the Saints keep him, or do you think that they cut their losses and try to draft somebody?
Oh, they gotta cut him. You can't keep a receiver that just had an Achilles tear. Nah, that's stupid. They got Michael Thomas and Ted Ginn, and they have a young prospect. What's his name? The dude that replaced Ted Ginn when he was injured.
Yeah.
He's shown that he can kind of fit in there and make those explosive plays, but he just needs a little bit more training.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this offseason, they're going to see where he's at and try to get him up to speed so he can be that wide receiver too for the Saints. But I don't think they're going to keep Dez Bryant. They got rid of Brandon Marshall. Why do they need Dez Bryant?
Good point.
It's not like he's going to be some explosive receiver. We see what Achilles tears do to athletes. It doesn't look good for him, and he's kind of getting up there in age, so it's going to take him a little while to heal. And football is not the greatest sport that you have an Achilles tear in when you're a receiver.
Not at all.
Especially when you're a receiver, people claim that can't even get separation as it is. Now you're losing explosiveness. It's going to be hard for him to get back at the game, man. I can see him going to the AAF, the XFL, but not the NFL anymore. It seems like this injury kind of was that Delta topic for him. And like Waz was saying, he doesn't have the best background as like a cooperating person in your team, and at receiver that's kind of got that negative image on it that's already with T.O. and everybody else kind of paving the way for that.
Oh yeah.
I feel like the Saints are just gonna cut him, but they might give him a chance. He might stay there for the leadership qualities because he can fire up the team.
Oh yeah.
We'll see. So my money is on this touch.
Dez already throws up the X, so I think he's already doing a good marketing for the XFL.
Yeah.
I think he's trying.
That's actually a good idea. And they'll pay him just because he's a big name.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Man definitely will flag a walk to find the deal for sure.
Mm-hmm. All right, now let's talk about the last of the Legion of Boom, Earl Thomas. Oh man, this is very, very hard because his productivity went down when the rest of the Legion of Boom went down. When Cam Chancellor decided to, I guess, retire early because of injuries. I think that he was one injury away from being paralyzed, I believe it was. And then, Richard Sherman going to San Fran. And, Earl Thomas, he had an injury. He had a knee injury that set him out for the rest of the year. And it was only like in the first 4 weeks of the season last year. They're in the rebuilding stages of their defense. I believe that the Seahawks offense is pretty damn solid. You get you a high end tight end or something like that. You get you another speedy wide receiver like that. They'll probably be top 5 in the whole league. But their defense, the Seahawks have pretty damn good linebackers. Their linebackers, their front seven is pretty damn good. The D lineman and the linebackers is pretty good, but they just need to rebuild that secondary. That's what they need to work on. So with that in mind, I think that if you're the Seahawks, I mean, me personally, if I'm the Seahawks, I think that you give Earl Thomas a second chance. But Wise, what about you?
Yeah, it tends to be decided to give it a hometown discount, which at this point is rare. At this point is where I think he's kind of going to. I think I would imagine he would, and it'd be in his best interest too, because I don't know if he's going to command or get any more money, outside that team. The only team I think that might potentially, maybe I don't know. Maybe I don't know if the Bears might take a swing at him. I'm trying to look at teams that we want to add either a kind of a veteran piece to their defense, or to cap off an already good defense. I think that's any other teams that might obviously get geared him. I don't think he's going to go on to like a rebuilding deal. I think if he's gonna try to take a little bit more money, it's gonna be with a potential contender. But I don't think when I look at some of the cap spaces for the really kind of like the solid teams defensively, the only teams that might be in play, the Rams maybe. But I don't think so. Maybe possibly the Ravens, the Panthers, but I think ideally, the Seahawks have a fair amount of cap space. They have a chance to get him at the hometown discount. I think he might take it. I don't think the teams out there like the Rams or the Panthers or possibly the Bears, I don't see them giving him better value outside of Seattle. I think he stays in Seattle.
Right.
I think that's potentially the good organization, and they've been competing in it for the last half decade for sure. So I think he stays.
All right, Flip. What do you think? If you're the Seahawks regarding Earl Thomas, do you keep him or do you cut him?
Shit, you gotta cut him. You don't want to be on that team.
Really?
You can't flip off your entire coaching staff and then say.
Well, I mean, that's not all right. Throw that out the window for a second. I mean, talent-wise, well, then again, you got the whole Antonio Brown drama or whatever. I mean, he says he's not happy. I guess they don't want to keep somebody that's not happy, but still, I mean, from a talent perspective, who do you replace him with? Like I said, because this draft, the thing is, look at the draft class. Like I said, there's nobody with wide receivers and running backs.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you can't draft a safety in the third round or something. Just because you got a first-round talent as a safety, you can go and pick up a safety in the third, fourth, fifth, and still get that same protection.
Mm-hmm.
The Chargers picked up a quarterback in the fifth round, and he was their best quarterback this year. It's not like it's out of the loop for a defensive player in the later rounds to be a good player for your team. I just don't think Earl Thomas wants to stay with the Seahawks. He was holding out because they wouldn't pay him. They refused to pay him.
Yeah.
He finally gives in and goes out there and plays. Mind you, he was actually, I think I saw a stat that said when Earl Thomas was on the field, the defense performed better than when he was off the field. Then I think he broke his leg, and he's just like, well, that's the reason why I wanted to get paid. So I'm going to flip off my coaching staff because what I feared would happen happened. So I don't think he wants to stay there. I don't think they want to pay him. If they do pay him, they're going to have to pay him pretty damn well to keep him in their good graces. So I feel like he could just be a trading piece or just let him go, cut him from the team. It just doesn't seem like a healthy relationship there, and you can get some pieces for him, to build that team because I don't know. The Seahawks are close to being contenders, but they're just not there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I forgot that whole issue. I forgot that whole deal with the Cowboys where he was hugging on the coaching staff for the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
I forgot that went down, and then I was doing like a brief Google search, and apparently his family's already settling and moving in off to Texas. So there's who knows, there might be a foreshadowing a little bit. The Cowboys have a pretty good defense. It's definitely a potential landing spot for him. Tech right now too. So
Mm-hmm.
both teams got some cap space. But Cowboys, however, do got to re-sign Lawrence and all that. So I don't know what the Cowboys are going to do in that case, but it might be a good pickup for him.
And does Deshaun Watson have to get paid yet?
He's going into his third year. Third year is usually the end of rookie contracts.
I can see them picking up Earl Thomas for maybe like a 2 or 3 year deal or something. I feel like he would give them a discount. I think he just wants to leave the Seahawks and go back to Texas.
Yeah. And besides, I'm actually glad you brought up the Texans secondary because the Texans secondary is underrated. They're slept on.
Yeah, but they be getting burnt.
Yeah. It depends on who you're going up against. Because if you're going up against an Andrew Luck or a Tom Brady type of quarterback, yeah, you are gonna get burnt. You're gonna get burnt more often than not. So yeah.
You gotta face Andrew Luck twice a year.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Deshaun Watson signed through 2020. So his contract doesn't expire until after season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. And I feel like they may not keep JJ Watt, to be honest.
Really?
He's kind of breaking down, man. I don't know if you've noticed it, but I think this is his first season in a while where he played most of the games, right?
Yeah. Because the thing is, think about it. He gives you 110% on every single snap. So of course he's gonna be breaking down. And the thing is, that's who I wanted to bring up next. Well, not exactly. I wanted to bring up Jadeveon Clowney next because Jadeveon Clowney he's on the free agent table too. But yeah, finish what you were saying.
I was just gonna say, if they do keep him, does he ask for that big Aaron Donald deal?
Maybe.
And it's like, I don't know if you would pay JJ Watt that money after. I mean, he was explosive in those first few years, and then he's just kind of, he's still a force, but I don't know. I mean,
16 sacks this past season is still pretty good. I mean, he's still like one of the top five defensive players.
You're right. I didn't realize he was 16 sacks this year. But
yeah.
He's 16 sacks or he's injured. And it's just like, I don't know if the Texans want to roll the dice on that, but they probably will. If he gets 16 sacks.
Like I said, there's a few edge rushers in the draft and a few defensive edge rushers in the draft. So maybe, like I said, I don't see them getting rid of JJ Watt or then letting him go. But yeah. But now, as far as
If they don't get rid of Watt, then it's like either Watt or
Clowney. Yeah, like I said, I was gonna bring that up next. Like Jadeveon Clowney. Oh man, that's the 2-man tandem right there. But the thing is, Jadeveon Clowney, he had some injury problems earlier on. But the thing is, he's shaking off that injury bug. And the thing is, he's been a pretty solid and consistent player. He doesn't miss a lot of tackles. He actually can force a fumble or two, and he's gotten a pick or two too. So Jadeveon Clowney is pretty solid. And the thing is, I don't really see him anywhere else, or it's not that I don't see him anywhere else. I don't really see any other teams that need him. So yeah, why not stick around with the Texans if you're
I don't know about that. He can play DN or linebacker. I can definitely see a team picking him up. It's not like he's a bad defensive player.
No.
I think he's gonna run for money too.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have to pay him, but I just don't think the Texans are gonna want to pay him.
And
they're probably gonna be trying to pursue a big name player for that team to make the push.
Yeah.
So you never know.
Yeah, and like you said, they still got Deshaun Watson on the his rookie contract doesn't expire until the end of 2020, like Waz said. And I think that they might actually give They might give. I mean, if he performs, Watson might get that that 5-year, $100 million deal. He might very well get that. I mean, the thing is, they haven't had a consistent quarterback in God knows how long. So yeah, but if you
it is his first, it is his first big contract. So I don't think he can. I could see him getting short-ended a little bit, maybe like 5 years, 14 million on each. Maybe some back-end money.
Yeah.
I don't know because Dak over here, Dak Prescott is over here about constantly commanding $100 million. If Dak somehow pulls that money, I'm not saying Dak deserves it, but if Dak comes out and gets that $100 million, then Deshaun Watson for sure.
Oh hell yeah, because Deshaun Watson is better than Dak. I'm gonna go ahead and say it.
Yeah, they're about the same.
No. No.
Nah,
I'm telling you because I'm telling you, Zeke.
I'm giving Deshaun Watson no edge over Dak because he has D-Hop out there. And we've seen what D-Hop can do. He had Brian Hoyer looking like fucking John Elway.
No, man, because I'm telling you, Zeke makes Dak look better. Zeke makes Dak look better than he really is. I'm telling you.
What'd you say?
Zeke makes Dak look better than he actually is. And you can't...
No, because when Zeke is getting shut down and they're stacking the box, Dak showed up.
Duh! He doesn't have a choice. And of course, look at who they picked up. That wide receiver. Let's see.
Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Amari Cooper. Yeah, they from the Raiders. Yeah, of course he had to show up and he had to still. Yeah.
They're not too far out. They're both running quarterbacks that can make decent throws, and one of them has an exceptional receiver who can catch any ball that's thrown his way. I just don't think there's a major difference.
Yeah, DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean,
okay, look, a perfect example. What game was it? D-Hop I think it was against like the Bengals or somebody.
Look no further than the game against the Texans and the Cowboys. Look no further than that game if you want proof.
It was ridiculous.
He completely ripped. DeAndre Hopkins completely ripped their defense a new one. And you mean to tell me? You mean to tell me that they're on the same play? That Dak's on the same scale? I mean, they are on the same level, I guess, as far as talent. But come on, I would take if you told me who you would rather take one over the other. Come on, I'm taking Deshaun Watson 9 times out of the 10. Now, mind you, I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you this.
Deshaun Watson don't trust Dak, but
no.
If it was like, oh, you can't have Deshaun, you have to have Dak, I'm like, okay, that's not too bad. They're about the same.
But I'm gonna give you this. But flip. I'm gonna go ahead and give you this. Dak has not had one major injury yet, knock on wood. Dak is pretty durable. I'm going to go ahead and give you that. Deshaun Watson has had one major injury to sideline him for the rest of his rookie year. I'm going to go ahead and give you that in the sense of he might be a little bit more durable.
And Dak has almost made it to the Super Bowl. He was one throw away from that Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Was he though? Was he from the Super Bowl or from the NFC?
NFC Championship. Yeah, NFC Championship.
I feel like they could have made it to the Super Bowl.
I don't think. I mean, I'm sorry, but they're not beating no Eagles in the damn. No.
He's shown that he can be clutch in the playoffs, and that's something that you have to take into account with the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess I agree with that. We'll see.
So I would put them on the same level. I'm a level of my familiarity.
Yeah.
They are closer. They are closer than I would initially think. Like like Deshaun Watson to me, like I see more like great plays being made, like in terms of his legs and deep throws, versus Dak. Obviously, he throws a lot of things or whatever it seems like. He doesn't have those deep threat balls. But again, you could argue with a couple of things. You could argue with the receivers. Just obviously having Hopkins, and that's just one benefit. And I'm trying to think which team would fare better if you swap quarterback. You're right. It could. Their numbers are pretty similar. And maybe not giving him credit. Dak has the 2 out of the 3 years, solid. So it's kind of hard to say. I personally still think I like Deshaun Watson a little bit better. Well, I guess we'll see going into the next year. Right? Another year of another year with evidence and more tape on both. But you're right. DreadMan does bring up a good point. If you're giving a guaranteed money in contract, Dak has shown more durability. And more, he's obviously, he seems to be a little bit smarter, kind of like Russell Wilson when it comes to running out of the pocket and using his legs, and not taking those big hits, whereas Deshaun Watson does. So maybe that is more of a smarter gamble if you give him up, $100 million for giving Deshaun. But we'll see. You can't pay Zeke and Amari Cooper and then pay Dak. So I'm curious to see what the Cowboys do.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, even though we're kind of beating the dead horse with who I'm going to bring up next, but Le'Veon Bell. Now, he is still under contract with the Steelers. He's still under.
If AD goes, Le'Veon is staying.
Really? You know what? You might be right about that. That's something. You know what? Because, like I said, it frees up $21 million in cap space if AB goes. Just a side note, right quick. Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm going to say, do the Steelers really look at this opportunity to have the extra cap space and decide to give it to Le'Veon Bell when they've already shown that they can have a fairly? I mean, obviously it was a disappointing season. They missed the playoffs, but fair enough. I don't think Le'Veon Bell was the issue. The lack of Le'Veon Bell was the issue.
Yeah.
I think it was poor coaching in games and bad defense that was the culprit. So I don't know if using that extra cap space to give Le'Veon Bell the big contract he wants is the move that the Steelers should make.
I mean, me personally, I think. I mean, because both AB and Bell, they have kind of been under the team's foot. I mean, of course, Big Ben has had his issues too or whatever. But I mean, you shouldn't put the team over yourself. I mean, when you put yourself above the team, you're not going to make any friends. I mean, of course, if anybody's criticized them, it's that O-line, because everybody's like, well, a running back is only as good as his offensive line is. And you can't really dispute that too much. I mean, it's not like Barry Sanders, who didn't have an O-line and still put up numbers anyway. But Barry Sanders is pretty much the running back who I would compare Le'Veon Bell the closest to, at least at the moment. But I think Flip is right in the sense of money with that $21 million freed up. If Brown goes, then yeah, they will be able to pay Bell the money that he wants. Now, as far as team morale, he might need to gain their trust back. But I mean, of course, like I said, the Steelers know what they're doing as far as drafting wide receivers and running backs, and that's who this draft class is full of. But I mean, like I said, look at the past decade or two, and we run, like I said, we run through wide receivers like toilet paper. We got rid of Hines Ward for being 36 years old. We got rid of Mike Wallace. We got rid of Santonio Holmes. We got rid of Plexico Burris. We got rid of Martavis Bryant. We got rid of Antoine Randall. We got rid of do y'all want me to keep going, or do y'all get the point? Yeah, let's see who we got rid of. Let's see, we got rid of Tillman. I believe he was I think he was number 84 wide receiver. I mean, he was number 84 before Antonio Brown. He was their tight end. Let's see, who else have we gotten rid of? We've gotten rid of let's see. We've gotten rid of there was two tight ends that we got rid of who we got traded to us.
You guys gotten rid of enough people. That's how you got rid of. If you guys trade AD or let him walk, cut him, whatever, you have to sign Le'Veon. Who else are you going to sign? I mean, you're not going to get another big agent or big free agent receiver. He's like the only big free agent receiver out there. You're going to probably draft a receiver. You're going to make Juju your number one.
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to need a superstar on that team. You got to go with Le'Veon Bell. James Conner is not going to cut it as a superstar on the team.
Yeah.
Le'Veon Bell is solidified. He's shown you he can do this year in, year out.
Mm-hmm.
James Conner did it 1 year, and during the latter of the part of the year, I mean, he broke down. He started getting high ankle sprain. He wasn't producing as well on the field. They're gonna look at Le'Veon like, look, man, he's done. We'll pay you some money. You said you want to retire as a Steelers, so hey, show us that you really want to.
Yeah.
And they're gonna pay.
Now, if I'm the Pittsburgh Steelers, this is what I would do. If I had an idea for offensive scheme, if Bell would just so happen to stay a Steeler, I would have Bell as my running back and I'd have Connor as my fullback, or I'd have Connor as my running back and I'd have Bell as the slot. I think I'd have Bell in the slot as a receiver. Yeah, pretty much the same thing. Have D'Angelo Williams, when Bell was the running back, D'Angelo Williams was the fullback. But now the running back position, they got to do so much. They got to be able to catch. They got to be able to block. Of course, they got to be able to run. I mean, the running back position, they have to be versatile now. And the thing is, the fullback position is kind of starting to die out. But then again, the fullback position to the running back position is kind of like the tight end to the wide receiver. They have more or less the same responsibilities. But like I said, I like my idea of Bell being a slot because he's shown because I believe it was let's see, who else? Who am I thinking of right now? I'm thinking of Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson, he's a running back / wide receiver. And then you had Montgomery from the Packers. He's a running back / wide receiver.
Yeah, I can see Le'Veon playing some receiver work. I mean, the second best receiver, or the third best receiver on that team. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see him playing some receiver. But I can see you guys also just picking up a solid piece as a wide receiver to replace Antonio Brown.
Yeah.
Have number one, let me steal Adam Humphries or John Brown or somebody from these other teams and have been with a little backup spare on the side or something when Juju can't get open or something. Yeah?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna go over. I was gonna list a few of the receivers. Dreadman, you told me if you think it'd be worth it to lose Brown, keep Bell, and then pick up this free agent. So let me go over the list real quick. So the top free agent receiver right now is Demaryius Thomas. Would you want him? Now he commands a little more money than what you're already currently paying Brown. It looks like his last deal.
Right. Or is it ACL or Achilles?
I think it was ACL. I think it was an ACL injury for Thomas.
I know it was one for Will Fuller. I'm just not sure what it was for Demaryius.
Yeah, but Demaryius Thomas, if I'm Demaryius Thomas, I'll pass. Yeah, if I'm pass. I'll pass on Thomas.
All right, so
how ironic is it that we got rid of Emmanuel Sanders to the Broncos? That would kind of be a funny pickup. Yeah.
What about this?
Yeah.
What about Randall Cobb?
From the Packers? Oh man. Pass, unfortunately. I'm gonna have to say pass.
How about Golden Tate?
Oh wow, that is a good one. Golden Tate will be pretty damn good, and I think is he cheap? Golden Tate is cheap too, isn't he?
Right. He's cheap. He's about half of what you're paying Brown.
Oh yeah, definitely. Have Juju as my number one, and have Golden Tate as my number two, and then if you were just so happen to keep Bell, that would be a dangerous combination right there.
Yeah, I think Golden Tate, or even I think Flip brought up John Brown. John Brown's interesting too, but and some familiarity. John Brown in that division playing. He played really well for the Ravens last year. Yeah, I think John Brown and Golden Tate might be the two. You guys lose Brown.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Antonio Brown is well, he's gonna be missed, but I feel like you guys always have some like backup receiver to take over every time.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys are gonna be fine with a number one receiver. I feel like Juju can do it. You just need somebody to kind of take off some of that pressure.
Exactly.
I feel like someone like a Golden Tate or John Brown could definitely do that.
Yeah.
But what they use, you could possibly lose Bell, or maybe possibly find, maybe if you don't decide to find Bell or franchise or whatever, you could the running back situation is a little bit more bleak. Right now we got this country. Yeah, no, but in terms of if we're looking at free agents, like if you want to pick up a free agent running back, and let's say you got some extra cap space, you got right now it's Latavius Murray, let's see, Blunt. I think you guys are going to sign Blunt again.
Oh yeah.
Jeremy Hill, Doug Martin, Mark Ingram, who we mentioned earlier. Mark Ingram's probably the best free agent running back right now. Just in terms of productivity, they cost after Le'Veon Bell, of course. But so yeah, it's a little bleak. Obviously you have Connor, but if you're not so sold on Connor, those are kind of your options right there. There's not really too much out there this year for 2019. Yeah, so I don't know what the Steelers are gonna do. I can't imagine. Yeah, it's right. It'd be kind of hard to lose both players, but
yeah, I feel if they don't sign Bell and Brown, I can see them get that receiver to complement Juju, and instead of going with another running back, they stick to their guns with Connor. Maybe draft a rookie back to kind of be his relief back, and they go and pick up some defensive piece, maybe like another edge rusher. Hey, I feel like they need some missing piece on that team. I think they have Cam Hayward and TJ Watt. Get another edge rusher on that team, and I feel like their defense will be solid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of, so obviously the Steelers are really kind of Big Ben's team. Big Ben's contract does expire at the end of next year. So his contract does come up due after 2019. So what are you looking at then?
Like a 2-year extension.
Yeah. Actually, the quarterback class in 2020 is crazy. All the free agents.
Oh yeah.
You got Breeze's contract up, Russell Wilson, Phillip Rivers, Jared Goff. I mean, that's going to be a madhouse. It's going to be wild.
Yeah, 2020 is going to be an interesting one because out of all those people you named, I feel like all of them are going to be re-signed. I think Breeze might retire if he doesn't get re-signed. I don't see him going to another team. He's probably going to retire his name for
it's a bunch of like they go into like 2-year deals.
It's going to be.
Wilson's probably the only one that'd be longer, but
I don't know. I feel like Rush is going to get his 5-year max.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they move away from him. They just need to protect him. That's what they need to do. He's over there getting beat up. Rivers, I think he stays with the Chargers, like you said, probably like a 2 or 3 year deal, and they signed his backup in their future franchise quarterback, and I feel like he'll be fine with that as long as he doesn't get the start. As long as Phillip gets the start, he'll be fine with mentoring the future rookie franchise quarterback. Ben, I don't know, though. I don't know if you can sign a rookie behind Ben. Because didn't they try that before and he got all pissy about it?
I think so. Yeah, I believe.
I can't remember the rookie was.
Yeah, I can't remember either. It'll come to me in a minute. But yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of weird. situation with the Steelers. But yeah, I think they signed him to a 2-year deal.
Yeah.
Let him ride out with the Steelers.
Yeah. All right, now these. Yeah.
No, but my only point on getting to that was just thinking like long term. Like if you think you're gonna have another 2 years of Ben after this year, because his contract's gonna be up. Yeah, do you stay long term with Antonio Brown, knowing that you might have Ben for just another year or two, or if you think Ben's gonna be gone, do you commit long term to Antonio in hopes that you get a young rookie or someone in a year or two to appease Antonio? Just a lot to consider. I don't know what I don't know if the Steelers are taking into account how long Ben's going to be around before they commit. That's long term.
Yeah, like I said.
I think when you think of it that way, you stick with Le'Veon over Antonio.
Yeah, because Le'Veon is 26, and Brown is 30. So yeah, and Ben, like I said, Big Ben, he'll be 37 this year. So yeah.
Maybe on 26, but he's got a year removed from football, so maybe it's like 25.
Yeah, but then again, he's had that MCL. He had an MCL. Then again, remember he had an MCL injury in the postseason of 2015, not 2014, 2015 too. So yeah.
I feel like his running style now kind of makes him less injury prone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he can be that long term contract player for you.
Yeah,
it'll be no problem.
Yeah, because like I said, running backs in the league last by the average have a shelf life of 5 years, unless you're like a genetic freak like Adrian Peterson, who is in his 11th year in the league now.
Yeah, Adrian Peterson's special.
Yeah, he's a cyborg. I'm trying to tell y'all, he's a cyborg.
I think he dislocated his shoulder in like the early season and still kept playing.
Yeah, he did. Mm-hmm. I think didn't Marcus Mariota do the same thing? Marcus Mariota, he's a machine too. Well, I can't say he's a machine because there was a couple of games that he shouldn't have played that he did. He played injured, and he's got balls for doing that. But thing is, when you do that, you shorten your career.
You talking about Marcus Mariota?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got like a stinger or something in his elbow. He was never the same for the rest of the season. They didn't let it heal. They just kind of let him play through it, and I don't think that was the best idea.
All right. Now, these next two guys. Let's talk about Sam Bradford and Teddy Bridgewater. Who? Now, here's the thing.
The XFL side?
Huh?
You talking about the XFL side?
Exactly. Now, that's what I was about to go ahead and say it. Sam Bradford is a B-rank quarterback at best. Teddy Bridgewater, he did good his first couple of years when he was with the Vikings. He didn't do anything with the Saints. But I'll have to say that Sam Bradford and Teddy Bridgewater are both B-rank quarterbacks. They won't be any higher than B. Sam Bradford is 31, I think, and Bridgewater is 27, 28. But yeah, at this point, I could probably see Teddy Bridgewater going to somewhere like Jacksonville, and I can see Sam Bradford going somewhere like I don't know, maybe Washington. If that is, because think about it, if Washington runs through 3 quarterbacks, Alex Smith is 32 years old. He had a major injury. I could see somebody like Washington picking up Sam Bradford, but that's about it. What do you guys think?
I don't think anyone picks up Sam Bradford.
Really?
No, but his knee is basically bone at this point. Like his bone rubbing on bone on his knee. I don't think anyone wants Sam Bradford. I feel like his best bet is to take this year off. Get healthy, do whatever you can, and then go get a check from the XFL. Teddy Bridgewater, I feel like he's young enough that he can be a prospect somewhere still, and just prove that he can be that star quarterback for somebody. But I just don't know who, because it seems like everyone at this moment has a promising quarterback.
Right.
Besides Jacksonville. But Yeah, same for him. Go get back up somewhere for a year, and if it doesn't work out, go get that check from the XFL. Man, they're paying over there.
Oh yeah.
Just to be the deal now. So I just don't see them. I don't see either of them taking anyone's starting job. But I can see them either being. Well, I can only see Bridgewater being the backup. I don't think anyone wants to take a chance on Bradford anymore. So it just seems like the XFL is calling for them. It's like the best thing that's ever happened to these backup quarterbacks.
All right, Waz, what do you think? Teddy Bridgewater and Sam Bradford. What do you think? Where do they go?
Yeah, I agree with what I mean. I mentioned it earlier how the landing spot for quarterback, like a Nick Foles, whomever, it's a little bit. It's not as like as open or as plentiful as you might think. It is scarce because it does seem like a lot of these teams are pretty much set at quarterback, or at least they have a talent that is still a prospect that's still growing and they're going to invest in, a la maybe like Baltimore with Lamar Jackson. But yeah, Jacksonville's going to be like it's going to be like the TSA spot. It's going to be like the check-in station for all the quarterbacks that are leading to the XFL. And
Yeah.
The last pitch stop for y'all in the NFL. If you guys want to lose starting jobs, otherwise, either going to be backed up or you're going to be maybe playing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a CFL team now, like the Montreal Alouettes. The Argonauts. The Argonauts. Like TO place, like the Argonauts. I used to play some games like the Argonauts or whatever. So it's over there. Bridgewater, like I said, is young enough and he can at least granted he is injury prone, but he can at least like the injury is not really allowing him to be kind of at least young at the point where there's not enough pace. But with Bradford, although he's also been extremely injury prone, there's still at least a lot of snaps he's taken, but he has not looked good in a lot of them. He had like a handful of games where he looked really good, but other than that, it's been pretty subpar. I don't think any team really wants to mess around with Bradford. If Bradford gets a deal, then Colin Kaepernick.
Oh wow.
He really has a case. If he doesn't already, if Bradford continues to get signed, Kaepernick has no chance of even getting a practice or a warm up or workout with the team. So if there's no hope for Bradford. Bridgewater, maybe a backup spot. Maybe he tries out and gets one lane with Jacksonville, but that's about it.
All right. Well, guys, we just ran through all the major free agents and possible trades that are going to go on this off season. You guys got any other final thoughts before we sign out tonight?
Yeah, I actually have a good one that was just kind of brought up. Does Cap go to the XFL?
You know what? I think.
No.
You know what?
No, because it's Vince, man. Vince is Trump Central. There's no way. Vince is not. Vince is too tied in with that kind of regime.
I mean, if they pay him enough, I think he would do it.
Yeah, and besides, it's not like Cap's not. It's not like Cap is injury prone. It's not like he's a bad QB either. So I say maybe you do take a chance on Cap. I mean, the thing is, yeah.
Do you think the NFL is not like kind of pro-Trumpish? Like if Trump wasn't dissing them over the whole kneeling thing, I feel like they would have been like, oh yeah, we go with Trump. But I don't know.
Oh, for sure. So,
yeah.
They absolutely are. But I'm gonna watch Cap. I'm not sure. I'm surprised Cap at least wasn't given a look for this other league that's going on right now, the Alliance Football.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that was like kind of like a development league, kind of.
It's like minor. It's kind of like the Canadian Football League too. So yeah, it's made to develop players. So yeah.
the NFL is involved in both, I think, in some hand, because both sports, neither sport is like competing with the NFL, because they're going on.
Yeah, they're like off-season.
They're going on the off season. Like the XFL is supposed to start in 2020. This other league is going on right now, but the NFL has like a little bit of a hand in all of this, and both of them will have like a major league. Both of them, like I think the other sport that's going on now, there's a league of CBS. So they both of these have like a kind of like a big network money behind them. So there's definitely some chance of succeeding at that point. No, captain the XFL would be interesting. It definitely would be a big. It would definitely be a big swing, like in terms of getting viewership. But again, I don't know if the NFL is going to let that happen. It's a completely other league that's responsible, but with the NFL, I understand it. I think they find some way to block that happening because it'd be a little bit of a bad look.
Maybe. From a talent perspective, I don't think so. But yeah, from a political standpoint, you might be right about that.
Yeah, I think optics wise, it'll look bad. I think the NFL just wants to minimize, or Roger Goodell, I don't know, but just minimize Kaepernick's overall visibility. If the league becomes successful and Kaepernick is a face of it, it's definitely a slight bad. It's definitely a bad look for the NFL.
Yeah. Like I said, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, Waj, final thoughts?
No final thoughts. Just I'm curious to see if there's going to be any other big signings. I was really surprised about the Kareem Hunt thing. I think that coming with the Browns.
Yeah.
Browns are making a move. I think they definitely see a gap in that division. There's definitely a chance for them to rise, so that'll be interesting. I'm curious to see what all the talking heads are going to say about, obviously we'll go back and forth debating, Kyler Murray's draftability based on his size and stuff. But you're right, this QB draft class as good. It wasn't bad. So this draft, I don't think this draft is going to be as interesting. That's probably why I think they're having it in Tennessee. But so I think this draft is going to kind of go by the way. It's going to be one of those drafts that don't really pay attention to, and there's not really many competing players there. At least not marquee from the start. I'm more curious about obviously the NBA draft. And, what team wins the Zion lottery?
Oh yeah. Probably the New York Knicks. Probably the Knicks. The Knicks. I'm gonna tell you right now. The New York Knicks are gonna go after Zion since they ain't got Porzingis anymore.
That block is crazy. That block is crazy.
Yeah.
He jumped from the paint.
He jumped from the paint. He blocked the guy at the corner.
Oh Lord, yeah.
That was ridiculous. If the Knicks get him, and the Knicks get the Knicks get KD and Kyrie.
Oh yeah.
It's over, man. Knicks are back.
Hell yeah. They'll be a contender in the East again.
The Knicks been trusting the process that they were doing quietly.
Yeah.
Pray that the process works this year.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, anyway, guys, that's pretty much all we had to discuss tonight. Like I said, the off season is already looking to be interesting, and I already can't wait to see what happens in the draft. And for all my other sports fans, in the next couple of weeks, especially after All-Star Weekend, we're going to pick up with the NBA podcast again. So just be prepared for that. Flip Wise, hopefully you guys are prepared for that too. I'll give you a call, give you the details on that.
Absolutely, man. I'm watching Utah get Golden State everything they take a handle right now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Anyway, guys, that'll be all for tonight. Flip Wise, as always, thank you fellas, for hosting the show with me, and all the viewers out there, thank you for watching, and we'll be back soon. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.